Mom? Is he mad? Ava Reynolds froze, halfway between apology and panic, her daughter Ellie tugging at her sleeve. The cafe was quiet, except for the hum of conversation and the rain tapping softly against the window. Across the small table sat Lucas Hale. Crisp shirt, wristwatch gleaming, posture as precise as a straight line. He didn't look angry. He looked unreadable. "No, sweetheart," Ava whispered. "He's just surprised." Lucas's gaze flicked from Ava to the 7-year-old girl now sliding into the chair beside her. "You brought company," he said, his voice smooth but guarded. Ava exhaled. "I'm so sorry. My babysitter canceled last minute and I didn't want to stand you up." Ellie smiled, swinging her legs. "Hi, I'm Ellie. I like spaghetti." Lucas blinked, then something softened around his eyes. "Spaghetti's a solid choice." Ava bit her lip. "If it's a problem, I completely understand." But Lucas lifted a hand. "No, stay, both of you." He closed the menu. "I'll order spaghetti then. Seems fitting." Ava looked up, startled. The tension broke like a bubble. Ellie grinned. "He's nice, Mommy." Lucas chuckled faintly. "Don't let that rumor spread too far. I have a reputation to protect." Dinner unfolded like an unexpected melody. Awkward at first, then gradually, quietly beautiful. Ellie spilled her juice halfway through. Lucas simply handed her a napkin and said, "Good thing the table needed a bath." Ava laughed, a real laugh, the first in weeks. Lucas wasn't what she expected. He wasn't charming or flashy. He was steady, careful. But beneath that precision, Ava sensed something else. Loneliness, maybe. The kind that money couldn't polish away. When dessert came, Ellie insisted they all share a single cupcake. Lucas obliged, dividing it into 3 perfect pieces. "Equal distribution," he said. "Architectural fairness." Ellie giggled. Ava smiled, feeling something gentle stir inside her, a warmth she hadn't let herself feel in years. The next morning, Ava returned to her second job. Janitorial work at Hale Innovations, one of the city's sleekest tech buildings. She clocked in quietly, headphones on, mop in hand. She was scrubbing the glass elevator doors when the reflection startled her. Lucas Hale, standing behind her. For a moment, neither spoke. Then his brow furrowed slightly. "You work here?" She nodded slowly, throat tight. "Night shift. Been here a few months." Something flickered in his expression. Not pity, not surprise, just understanding. "Then I should apologize," he said softly, "for not recognizing how hard you already work." Ava wanted to disappear. "Please don't. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to think that I'd treat you differently," he finished. "Yes." He nodded once. "Then let's keep it that way." And just like that, he walked off. No judgment, no awkwardness. Just quiet respect. 2 weeks later, Lucas found something outside his office door. A folded piece of paper, decorated with stars and stickers. He opened it carefully. "Thank you for being kind to my mom." "She smiles more now." From Ellie. Underneath, a tiny cupcake was drawn with glitter glue. Lucas stared at it for a long time. Then slowly, he smiled. That night, he called his foundation team. "I want to start a scholarship," he said, "for single parents going back to school. Call it the Reynolds Grant. Make it anonymous." When his assistant asked why, he simply replied, "Because sometimes people need doors opened quietly." Months passed. Ava had no idea who had created the scholarship, but she read about it in the paper. And something about the name made her chest tighten. Still, she didn't dwell on it. Life was busy. She had Ellie's school to juggle, bills to pay, and the comfort of the occasional text from Lucas. Just checking in, never overstepping. But one Friday afternoon, a co-worker cornered her near the supply closet. "Did you hear?" she said, grinning. "The boss donated a huge fund named after one of his friends, some janitor or something." Ava froze. "What did you say?" The woman shrugged. "Yeah, Reynolds Grant. Sweet story, huh? You know, if it's true." Ava's heart pounded. That evening, she stormed up to Lucas's office before she could talk herself out of it. He looked up from his desk, surprised. "Ava, why?" she demanded. "Why would you do that?" He set down his pen. "Because it's right." "No, it's pity. I don't need to be your charity project." His voice remained calm, but his eyes darkened. "It's not pity. It's gratitude." "For what?" she asked bitterly. "For reminding me of her," he said softly. "My mother cleaned offices too, including this one 20 years ago. She used to say, 'Kindness isn't debt, it's inheritance.' I lost sight of that." Ava's anger faltered, replaced by something fragile. "You could have told me. I didn't want to make it about me." She stood there for a long moment, unsure what to say. Then she whispered, "You really meant it? The part about doors?" He nodded. "And I'll keep opening them quietly. But I'll never open one for you that you can't walk through yourself." Something in her broke open. Not in pain, but in recognition. 3 months later, Hale Innovations hosted its annual charity gala. Ava wasn't invited, but she was working the catering shift that night. She moved quietly between tables, collecting plates unnoticed, until the final speech began. Lucas took the stage. He spoke briefly about empathy, about rebuilding trust between privilege and effort. Then, without naming her, he said, "Sometimes the strongest leaders don't stand on this stage. They mop its floors. They carry more than most of us will ever lift. Tonight, we honor them." A hush swept the room. Ava froze, her heart pounding. He didn't look her way, but somehow, it felt like he did. Spring came. On a warm Saturday morning, Ava and Ellie visited the new Community Learning Center, a bright, beautiful building recently renovated through one of Lucas's projects. There, under a tree strung with fairy lights, stood Lucas himself, helping hang signs for the grand opening. Ellie ran to him. "Mr. Lucas," she squealed, "look what I made." She handed him a small cupcake wrapped in foil. On top, written in shaky icing, were the words, "For heroes who notice." Lucas blinked, touched. "That's for me?" Ellie nodded. "Mom says you see people even when nobody else does." He smiled at Ava, standing a few feet away. "Your mom is generous with her words." Ava laughed softly. "Only when they're true?" For a moment, the air between them was easy. No guilt, no status, no walls. "Do you still like spaghetti?" he asked. She grinned. "Depends. Are you buying this time?" He tilted his head. "Only if Ellie agrees." Ellie beamed. "Deal." As the three of them walked toward the food stalls, Ava glanced at Lucas, sunlight catching the lines of his face. He wasn't the cold executive she'd first met, and she wasn't the woman too afraid to be seen. Sometimes, kindness didn't fix broken things. It simply lit them up, so you could see where to start again. And under those cafe lights, with laughter rising around them, that was exactly what they did. Start again.